As you plan to support students in actualizing Portrait of a Graduate, consider focusing on creating a learner-centered environment where all students feel included, empowered, and can find success. Have you ever shared something you've created with others, not sure of the feedback you were going to receive? It's risky and uncomfortable, even for adults. So how can we help students, starting at a young age, know the value of communication and feedback?
If teachers are thoughtful about building these skills over time, students will learn how to give feedback, use it to improve their work, and understand how truly valuable it is.
So how do teachers help students become comfortable taking risks and giving feedback? At the Rome Middle School, 8th grade science students are using discourse strategies to help each other learn. Let's take a look.
You're going to comment on the sticky note using this prompt.
We also include the circuit, which
One of the things I'm looking for while they're going on this gallery walk is that they're talking to each other, is that they're talking using the prompts that they have, and they're having a discourse discussion at each team's poster board. That gallery walk was our between group discourse, and the students this time really were able to kind of bump it up. Basically, I agree and disagree, but why do you agree and disagree? All right, get there. They came back, they sat down, they were able to look at what everyone commented on. So now we had an individual, then we had a within group, then we had a between group. Now they come back, look at their chart paper, synthesize all that information that they just gathered, and they write down their post writing.
There isn't one right way to help students take intellectual risks. But as we saw in Mr. Lote's class, students weren't expected to just know what to do.
He created the opportunity for students to offer each other feedback on ideas they were grappling with and gave them a tool, the discourse prompts, so they could give high-level feedback to each other and use others' ideas to improve their work.
Right, and this wasn't the first time students used this tool. They had the chance to reflect on their own in a low-risk setting before having conversations with smaller and larger groups, gradually feeling more comfortable with taking the risk of opening their ideas to feedback.
And what do we do with feedback? We use it to refine and revise, leading to increased understanding and higher quality work. That's collaboration. We get there by creating a learner-centered environment for all of our students.
So how can these same strategies apply to a different grade level and setting?
All students need to develop and build skills to be communicators in every grade level and subject. So what can a teacher do to guide students to develop these skills over time? Let's take a look at Freedom Hill Elementary, where teacher Christina Winkler is using technology to elevate student voice. Be on the lookout for specific strategies that are used and how they apply to any learning situation.
I think the biggest change you see once you put assistive technology in is how much personality comes out of these kids, because so much of their life, especially when they're completely nonverbal, is people telling them what to do or giving them a forced choice of two. And when you give them these devices, you really see their personality come out, and you get to learn them not just as students, but like as people, which has been really cool.
Augmentative and alternative communication devices are ways that students communicate when they don't have their verbal abilities to communicate as their primary means. So it's vitally important we have a way for them to communicate in academics and social situations, and certainly to express themselves throughout the day.
I always think back, like, what is typical language development for a child who's going to speak? Like, first they need to hear it constantly. They need to be exposed to it constantly. So even if your kid isn't able to use it independently, modeling how to use the device is really, really important. Showing them constantly really helps them engage with it and understand the power of it. And also, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to say things that don't make sense, and that's okay.
You want a turn?
Miss Winkler.
Oh, you like a turn?
Turn, Miss Winkler.
Go put that on my calendar. Awesome! Yeah, count it out for me.
We just saw middle school science and an elementary classroom. But let's forget about grade level and subject for a minute. While the first video focused on feedback and the second video on empowering students to communicate, how did the teachers both use the same strategies to accomplish these outcomes?
Did you notice any similarities? How did both teachers use scaffolds, like sentence stems and graphic organizers, so that students could build toward success?
How did they both gradually release ownership of learning to students so they develop skills over time? How did they both encourage students to thoughtfully communicate and collaborate to deepen their learning?
While they might look different, the strategies are the same, and they are all working toward the same goal: using some characteristics of a learner-centered environment to increase opportunities for students to develop as communicators and collaborators, leading to high levels of learning for all.
So how can you connect to 8th grade science and students who use augmented learning devices to your classroom? Look no further than the learning model and the key attributes known as Portrait of a Graduate.
What did you learn that you can do now?
Thanks for tuning in.